je deshe baise korange ragana udva bahu kori vando sabara charana hoya chena hoye bena prabhu jato dasa sabara charana vando Tante kori ghasha Brahmanda tarite shakti dare jane jane E veda purane guna gaya je bashune Mahaprabhur gana savapatita pavana Tai lobhe mui papilo inu sharana Vandana korite mui kato shakti dhori Tamo buddhi doshe mui dambha matra kori Tatapi mukhera bhagya manera ulasa Doshakshami mo adhame karo nij dasa Sarva vansha siddhi hoya yama bandha chute Jagate dulabha hoya prema dhana lute Manera vasana purna achirate hoya Devaki nandana dasa elo beko Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Page 200 Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jivedoya Kori Saparshada Sriya Dhama Sahavatari Atyanta Dulabha Prema Kori Bare Dana Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana Denya Atmani Vedana Kotrite Varana Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishvasa Palana Bhakti Anukula Matra Karyara Svikara Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Bhajanangikara Shadanga Sharana Gati Hoibe Jahara Tahara Pratana Shune Shinanda Kumara Rupa Sanatana Pade Nante Trina Kore Bhakati Vinoda Pade Tuhu Pada Dhore Kadiya Kadiya Bole Amito Adhama Shikhaye Sharanagati Karohe Utama Jaya Saparshada Jaya Gaura Hari Saparshada Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Nitai Jaya Go Jaya Nitai Jaya Go Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol 9:47. Should we do like? Well, that kind of also can count. Well, I don't know. Typically, we want to end at 9:45, right? Is there class today or?
There's class and meeting combined.
So she's gonna start at 10. All right. Someone like to sing?
Dasa mandire devadi devam rachanjam Gaurīdasa mandire Nityananda Sange Gora Ambika Devi Hare Nityananda Charu Aruna Gunjahara Het Kamale Jedare Runa Gunjahara Het Kamale Jedare Virinchi Sevya Pada Padma Lakshmi Sevya Sadare Tapta Hema Yanga Kanti Pratayaruna Ambare Tapta Hema Radhika Nuraga Prema Bhakti Vancha Jai Kare Sachi Suta Gaura Chandra Anandita Yantare Chisuta Gaura Pashanda Kanda Nityananda Pashanda Kanda Sange Range Bihare Nityananda Gaurachandra Gauridasa Mandire Gauridasa Karataya Shauridasa Sarva Jiva Udhare Devadi Deva Gaura Chandra Gauridasa Mandire Eva Gaura Chandra Nityananda Sange Gora Ambika Devi Hare Nitai He Gora He Nitai He Gora He Bolo Nityananda He Gaura Hari He Nityananda He Gaura Hari He Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo Gauraribo. Sure. We're on Krishna. Okay, page 343. Krishna. Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna. Deva Bhavantam Vande. Om Anmasamarukaram Arpayan Nijapada Pankaja Makarande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Yadi api samandishu vidirapi pashyanti natava naka gramarichim. Idami chamini shamratavachuta tadapi kripa bhutavichim. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Bhaktirudan Chatiyari Api Madhava Natavan Mamati Lamatri. Parameshvarata Tadapitavadika Durgata Gatena Vidhatri. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. I am Avilola Diyadya Sanatana Ganitan Buddha Sambharam. Nivasatunit Yame Hamritan Indini Vindan Madhuri Masaram. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Man Manasamarukkara Matpaya Nijapara Pankajama Karande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He. Jaya Yasoda Nandan Jaya Nanda Nandan Yasoda Nandan Jaya Nanda Nandan. What's that? I did not understand the joke. I wasn't taken as a joke.
3-4-1. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Gokula Taruni Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe Harinesh Kuta Vrinda Vipineshe Vardhana Veshe Harinesh Kuta Vipineshe Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe Harinesh Kuta Vrinda Vipineshe Damodara Rati Harinesh Kuta Vrinda Vipine Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Vrisabhanudari Navashashileke Lalita Saki Gunaramita Vishake Vrisabhanudari Navashashileke Lalita Saki Gunaramita Vishake Lalita Saki Gunaramita Visha Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Sanaka Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite. Karunam Kurumai Sanaka Sanatana Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite. Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe Ashta Saki Shiromani Radhe Radhe. Ashta Saki Shiromani Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radhe 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 Bolo Radhe 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 Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya 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 Shri Radhe
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha Raman Bihari Radha Raman Bihari Radhe. Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari. Gaura Hari, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Jaya Gaur, Jaya Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Dev. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Gora Haribo. Lord Premanande. The white speaker is not on. I thought this was the speaker. Is the kitchen speaker on? I thought this is. Oh, okay.
Agyanam timirandasya Gyananjanasalakaya Chaksurunmilitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Can you call the other man on the phone? Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tvadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah. Yang Pravrajantam Manupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruva Juhava Putriti Tanmayataya Taravo Banedos Tang Sarvabhutaridayam Muni Manatosmi Bhaktya Vihinai Aparada Lakshay Chiptasya Kamadi Tarangamadi Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapadyam Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavoivasmi Najivami Tvam Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamam Charanantike. First I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Stotra Sat Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudev. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astotra Sat Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, to our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, lazy man's bow, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all his divine associates and to all the assembled devotees, and the assembled devotees, Diksha Gurus, who are my Shiksha Gurus, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Madhav Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Pan Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj, who are all three great souls. Maybe I'll come to their level in a few millenniums. So, this is one of our wonderful debriefing meetings. No, just introducing the day. But Vasanti requested some moments of Harikatha before that. Yeah. You heard their names. They'll still give mercy for remembering that. So, what would you like to hear of the Harikatha world? Okay, let's go. That was quick. Yeah. Yeah. Krishna what? It's also Purnim. So far, I'm the only shaven head personality here. Okay. But the day is just beginning, isn't it? Okay, so we're beginning chapter 11. Very, very beautiful chapter. With some tension, called Jada Bharat instructs King Rahugana. Number 1. The Brahmana Jad... Oh, they're already in the middle of the conversation. How could that be? Oh, he read yesterday? Or someday? Uh-huh. Can you summarize it? With a mic.
Basically, Jada Bharat was chosen as somebody to carry the palanquin for King Rahugan. And on their journey, obviously we know Jada Bharat to be a great soul, and so he would walk very carefully while walking, not to step on any ants, to kill any ants. And so he was kind of holding back the palanquin while the other walkers, all the other carriers were going fast and they were criticizing him. Then King Rahugan started chastising him in such a way that he was calling him lame, dumb, fat, yeah, all these things, slow, or no, like weak, all these things, no? And then after that, Jada Bharat instructed King Rahugan that, I may be the servant in Rahugana, that I may be a servant now, but maybe, and you're the master now, but in this material world, things are always changing, so you could become a servant in your next life, I could become the master, like this, and many instructions about how he's not this body, even that he's not lame, nor dumb, nor fat, nor skinny. These are just bodily identifications. Then King Rahugana asked some questions regarding the soul, Jiva Tattva, the soul's truths, and then now we're going to get to the part where, and actually it was talking a lot about Vaishnava Aparad and how King Rahugana, though he didn't realize who this great soul was, he realized after making the grave mistake that he's actually great realized soul, and how he had committed some offense. So then now King Rahugan is surrendering at the lotus feet of Jada Bharat. And here we are.
Very good. See, that's one of the benefits of speaking, that you remember. And then you can employ it whenever you need it. If somebody else gave the class, you might have no idea. So very important to speak. Repeat as soon as you've heard something or read something. The Brahmana Jada Bharat said, "My dear king, although you are not at all experienced, you are trying to speak like a very experienced man. Consequently, you cannot be considered an experienced person. An experienced person does not speak the way you're speaking about the relationship between a master and a servant, or about material pains and pleasures. These are simply external activities. Any advanced, experienced man, considering the absolute truth, does not talk in this way. The only truth is the absolute truth." In 1997, Srila Gurudev was in Holland, and at that time, Shri Parashram Maharaj was Govinda Bhakata. So Gurudev was saying this point, and he said, "You can never tell the truth. You'll always tell a lie. What's your name, please? What's your name?" He said, "Govinda Bhakata." "What? Govinda Bhakata. Is that really your name?" "No, Govinda Bhakata Das." "Is that the name of your soul?" "No, you don't know the name of your soul." So if somebody asks you what's your name, you can say, I don't know. My dear king talks of the relationship between the master and the servant, the king and the subject, and so forth, are simply talks of material activities. People interested in material activities, which are expounded in the Vedas, are intent on performing material sacrifices and placing faith in their material activities. For such people, spiritual advancement is definitely not manifest. Because what is it? It's a dream. I had a good dream last night, had a bad dream. What's the difference? A dream becomes automatically known to a person as false and immaterial. And similarly, one eventually realizes that material happiness in this life or the next, on this planet or the next, is insignificant. It is a dream. Gurudev was once leaving some country in Europe, getting in his car to go to the airport. Everyone was surrounding him as usual. And he said, this world is a dream. One day you'll wake up from the dream and see that it was just a dream and you're putting so much attention in it. When one realized this, the Vedas, just like the other night, 2 nights ago, I had this nightmare. A lot of times we keep our valuables in a socks bag. So I had a dream that I went into the closet where our whole temple fortune is, and I saw that the bag was missing. And I started screaming bloody murder, wailing, no, no, no. And then a couple of minutes later, it was nothing. So when one realizes this, the Vedas, although an excellent source, are insufficient to bring about direct knowledge of the truth. Is why? Why can't the Vedas bring about direct knowledge of the truth? That's our whole means of information. Meaning? Loud?
One cannot realize the absolute truth by much study of the Vedas, by much hearing, by much reading. Only by whom Krishna chooses can one realize the absolute truth.
Good, and there's another one. Advaita Achyuta Manadiranand is a good one for everybody to know for preaching and self. Advaita Achyuta Manadiranantarupam Adyang Purana Purisham Nabajobanang Cha. Where is this from? Brahmasamhita. Vede Sudulabhamadulabhamadmabhakto Govindamadi Purisham Tamahang Bhajami. Krishna is unlimited. He's the source of everything. He has unlimited forms. Although he's the oldest personality, he's always a youth. Through the Vedic knowledge, it's very difficult to understand him. But how can he be understood? By hearing from the pure devotees. And that Govinda I worship. As long as the mind of a living entity is contaminated by the 3 modes of material nature, or once Gurudev was giving one of his Ratha Yatra classes. Every year when there was a Ratha Yatra time, Gurudev gave a week-long theme lectures on Ratha Yatra, and this time he was in Germany. And we had already published, GVP had already just published the Origin Ratha Yatra, which will make anybody weep, even a stone. And so he held up the book and he said, from this book you can get information, but from me you can get realized knowledge. And another time in Italy, he met one of his disciples for the first time. And the devotee was saying, I'm reading your books, they're so fantastic. And of course, Gurudev's always stressing reading and hearing, right? But this time he said, oh, that's nothing. Being with me is something. It's relative. Okay. As long as the mind is contaminated by the three modes of nature, the mind is exactly like an independent, uncontrolled elephant. Haridas, what's your mind like?
Independent, uncontrolled elephant.
Okay. It simply expands its jurisdiction of pious and impious activities by using the senses. The result is that the living entity remains in the material world to enjoy and suffer pleasures. What's the difference between enjoying and suffering? Nothing. Why? Two sides of one coin. It's the dictation of sense perception, O Arjuna, and one should learn how to tolerate it without being disturbed. The result is, that. Because the mind is absorbed in desires for pious and impious activities, it is naturally subjected to the transformation of lust and anger. Like Prabhupada and Gurudev explained, like a football stadium, what do you call it? Field. Constantly kicked back and forth from one side to the other in the field like a football. Lust anger, lust anger. In this way, it becomes attracted to material sense enjoyment. In other words, the mind is conducted by the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. There are 11 senses and 5 material elements, and out of this 16 items, the mind is the chief. Gurudev told the story of his teacher, and Gurudev and the other young men were walking to school, and when they came not too far from the school, they saw their teacher walking in the opposite direction, like leaving school or passing the school. So they said, what happened, Professor? He said, what do you mean? You're going the opposite way. Oh, he didn't realize, because although his feet were walking, his mind was telling them just to keep going, because his mind was otherwise absorbed. So even though he was so intelligent, brilliant teacher, he couldn't even figure out how to walk. Therefore, the mind brings about birth in different types of bodies among demigods, human beings, animals, and birds. Where have you been, Haridas?
All over. Birds, human beings, bugs.
What about plum trees? When the mind is situated in a higher or lower position, it accepts a higher or lower body. The materialistic mind, covering the living entity's soul, carries it to different species of life. Who's speaking to who? Good. Due to the mind, the living entity suffers or enjoys material distress and happiness. Somebody says it's all in your mind. What do you mean it's all in my mind? It's real. Thus, being illusioned, the mind further creates pious and impious activities and their karma, and thus the soul becomes conditioned. The mind makes the living entity within the material world wander through different species of life, and thus he experiences mundane affairs, different forms, fat, skinny, and so forth. When his mind becomes absorbed in sense gratification, it brings about his conditioned life of suffering. However, when his mind becomes unattached to material enjoyment, it becomes the cause of liberation. There's 2 doors. One is the door of liberation, Bhagavatam says, and one is the door of hell and bondage. By associating with materialistic personalities, including internet, including roaming the internet. I'm doing something, all of a sudden something else comes up and I go there. Yes. Well, the actual verse is Mahat Sangha, Sangam. By the association of pure devotees, one goes through the door of liberation, means Muktir Hitva Anjala, means real liberation, means to experience my own self and the Supreme Self and our relationship. Swarupena, I experience my own Swarup, Vyavastita, and the Supreme Spirit Krishna and our relationship. That's real liberation. There are 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Does anybody know the knowledge acquiring senses?
The eyes, the ears.
Loud?
The eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, and the skin.
Good. How does the skin get knowledge?
Touching things.
Touching. And what are the 5 working senses?
The hands, the feet, the mouth, the anus, and the genitals.
The belly.
I thought it was speech. Is what I thought.
The tongue is both speech and eating. O hero, the objects of the senses, such as sound and touch, the organic activities, such as evacuation, and the different types of bodies, society, friendship, and personality are considered by learned scholars the fields of activity for the functions of the mind. We're really insane, aren't we? Sound, touch, form, taste, and smell are the objects of the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Oh, you're actually right, I'm wrong. Speech, touch, movement, evacuation, and sexual intercourse are the objects of the working senses. See, he's right, and I'm wrong. Besides this, there is another conception by which one thinks, this is my body, this is my society. Prabhupada calls that haunted by the witch of Maya. This is my family, this is my nation. I have so many obligations to my mother and father. He's different because his mother is a great devotee. But generally, one of Gurudev's lady disciples, she was an actress, and she didn't come to Gurudev's Germany or Badger Festival. And when he met her at the airport, and he said, why? She said, I had obligations. I'm an actress, I had to perform. He said, you don't have any obligation to anyone but Guru. Guru is the one that gave you the life. And when you leave the world, you cannot take even one hair with you. And he went like that. And this morning he was saying, you can't take one particle of dust with you. Gurudev was speaking this morning that he has a disciple who's a very rich businessman. And then there was a businessman's conference, and his disciple businessman said to another rich businessman, why are you doing all this? Do you know that you're going to die soon and you can't take anything with you, not even a piece of dust? What will happen with all the things all your money and all the things that you're collecting? And the man said, I never really thought about that. And he started thinking, and he became bewildered, and Gurudev said he went mad. Yeah. No, it's not kidding. You could tell them. Of course, he knew the other person. This 11th function, that is the mind, is called the false ego. The false ego is the junction between matter and spirit. According to some philosophers, this is the 12th function, and its field of activity is the body. From the false ego comes what? You know the elements.
Intelligence.
Contaminated consciousness, intelligence, mind. Well, that's, yeah. And then the gross elements. Ether, air,
Fire, water.
and earth. And what is the root? The junction between matter and spirit. So all the material elements are made of false ego. The physical elements, nature, the original cause, culture, destiny, and the time element are all material causes. What are the material causes? Loud? Culture, destiny, time, yes. Agitated by these material causes, the 11 functions transform into hundreds of functions. What are the 11 functions? Yeah. Okay. Hundreds of functions, and then into thousands, and then into millions. And how many thoughts are there in a day, Vasanti? 60,000 thoughts in a day, researchers have found. And most of them, about 75%, are what? Yeah, good. But all of these functions do not take place automatically by mutual combination. Rather, they are under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like Gurudev was talking about Prabhupada this morning, our Prabhupada, and he was saying that he was a businessman and a married man. And so he had this chemical business, medicine business, Ayurvedic business. And so every single time he started a business or started a business, it failed. The same thing happened with his Prabhupada. They've said, why? Because Krishna wanted him to do something else. So he forcibly messed everything else up, including his family. And he said forced, but that's just human-like pastimes. And following his Gurudev's order, what was his Gurudev's original order? Yeah. The individual soul, bereft of Krishna consciousness, has many ideas and activities created by the mind, by the external energy. They have been existing from time immemorial. Sometimes they are manifest in the waking state and in the dream state, but during deep sleep, unconsciousness, or trance, they disappear. A person who is liberated in this life, Jivan Mukta, can see all these things vividly. Just imagine if we could see all this, realize all this. Champak, are you going to tell me when you're ready?
Yeah, I'm almost ready.
Okay. Just call out. There are two kinds of Kshetragya. What does that mean? Knower of the field. The football field?
Field of activities.
And the body. That's our field. I'm playing in my field. The living entity as explained above, and the Supreme Lord, who is explained as follows. So these are the two knowers of the field. We know our own body, sort of, and Krishna knows all the bodies. He explains this in the Gita. He is the all-pervading cause of creation. Verse. Yeah.
I'm the source of all spiritual material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise know this well, engage in bhajan of me with transcendental emotions.
Engage in what?
Bhajan.
With what?
Transcendental emotions in their heart.
Good. He is perceived by hearing and direct perception. He is self-effulgent and does not experience birth, death, old age, or disease. He is the controller of all the demigods. Means that when it rains, when it shines, he's the controller. That's why we all prayed to Indra on Saturday. Indra and Surya who worked together. And it didn't rain, just a few drops, and then it was over. He's full in himself and is not dependent on others. He is perceived by hearing, and of course we all knew that Krishna was in charge of Indra and Surya, the sun god. He's perceived by hearing and direct experience. He is self-effulgent and does not experience birth or death. He's the controller of all the demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma. He is called Narayan, and he is the shelter of all living entities after the annihilation of the material world. In other words, when the whole material world is destroyed, everything goes into him. He is full of all opulences, and he is the resting place of everything material. Vasanti, resting place verse. Loud, mic. Wait. You don't want to wait? Okay. Wait. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Shakshi Nivasam Sharanam Srit Prabhava Pralaya Stanam Nidanam Bijamavyayam. English.
And the goal, the master, the witness, the witness, the most dear friend, and the creation, annihilation, the resting place, and the eternal imperishable seed.
Good. Everybody get that? What is Krishna? Who's serving Radharani in that painting? Loud. Wait. Can you wait a minute? Did you get the mic yet? This is also going to the kitchen.
He's the goal, the master, the sustainer, the witness, the abode. He is the beginning, the end. He is the eternal resting place, the primal seed. I missed a few.
Good. No, that was good. Yes?
So right now, Jada Bharat is speaking to King Rahugana all these important wisdom talks. But we heard before that Jada Bharat was acting like a dumb person. Why is he choosing now to expound his knowledge on King Rahugana as opposed to just letting him perceive him as a dumb person?
Because he had to convert him, and he was converted. Yeah.
Was it because he was a king?
Well, it was Krishna arranged that he would be criticized and chastised, and Krishna knows who has to be converted when, so he engaged his devotee to do that at that time. Remember, everything is under the control of Krishna. So before, he had a reason for acting like a dullard, and that was because he was afraid, because 2 lives before that, he was practically at the stage of bhav, but because of bad association of the deer, he fell down, wasted his 2 births. And so then he had to show another thing. In the body of a deer, it shows that if you have a lot of mercy in your previous life, then you pick it up. So the deer body, he was also afraid. Then in the next body, Jada Bharat, he had to show something else. Number 1, that a devotee doesn't have to show off himself he's satisfied in himself, and also so that nobody would bother him. He was as happy, as a scarecrow, as he was as a being on the sledgehammer, as he was being a palanquin carrier. But then when the time came, and this was all going in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Krishna knew this, then he showed mercy to the king. My dear Rahugana, as long as the conditioned soul accepts the material body and is not freed from the contamination of material enjoyment, and as long as he does not conquer his 6 enemies and come to the platform of self-realization by awakening his spiritual knowledge, he has to wander. How many of us are still, conquered by our 6 enemies? And then, what does that show? You have to keep wandering. Maybe I'll meet you in a few births here or there. So what are the 6 enemies? Good. I think Champak and Hemangani are going to do a play about that.
Could I ask a question before? So we heard how Bharat Maharaj fell because of bad association, and then how through association he was relieved. So, but as Jada Bharat, he has no association.
He was already self-realized.
Oh, so he was self-realized, but he still had to take birth in a body. So was he a conditioned soul still, or?
No, he was self-realized, and he was almost self-realized as Bharat Maharaj. And then as the deer, he made sure to complete that by always associating with saintly persons and hearing Harikatha from them. Then he came as Jada Bharat to show us something. Okay. I mean, in his birth as the king, 2 verses before, he was already seeing the Lord Narayan and the sun planet. So he was close. Yeah. Oh. Right.